So recently I've had this particular niche in wanting to write my own story. You guys might be familiar with Road of the King. Actually, I'm going to have to rechange the story I was working on. I've been working on this one for a hot minute. This is called Trickstar, Art of the Trick. Now, this is your standard novel. It's not quite finished yet. This one will not be available for purchase anytime soon. I actually had to change the concept from this book, and we had to write the new one. It is called Firewall Me Daddy, and it is a story of two girls and one dragon. We'll just show this here for you. Now you guys can get a little bit better of a visual. But this is my new hip book based on interesting events that have happened in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But hopefully I'll be able to get back to my passion, the art of the trick. I heard if you're a Trickstar player, this book will particularly help you out in aiding you in your game. So let's dig into this fantastic YCS jersey discussion, shall we? YCS New Jersey has come to an end. I've been wanting to do a nice little rundown of the event. Tomorrow we will do a meta discussion, kind of going through, seeing how the metagame will be restructured about this. And I might actually end up writing a book similar to our fantastic story about Firewall Me Daddy and our guide to the art of the trick, a Trickstar guide for players. So let's talk about the event, what kind of happened, and a few things like that. So, top 32 rolled on out. A lot of us were excited to see that Spiral player made it, a Pendulum Magician player made it, ABC's piloted by none other than Calvin Tahan, and two Altergeist players made it, along with Goki, two pure Trickstars, three pure Sky Strikers, and lo and behold, to everybody's real surprise, there was 16 Sky Striker Trickstars. Now, we had seen the original concept for this deck come out during Swedish Nationals. A lot of us... Was it Swedish Nationals? I think it was. A lot of us didn't really pay much attention to the concept, but to be honest with you, I kind of just tossed the concept to the wayside. The problem I have with this deck being the most majorly representative is when we were testing the deck at locals, the deck feels very fragile to the touch. Unfortunately, the deck kinda succumbs to the fragile glass effect. You know, one little piece goes wrong, it kind of all just falls apart. But pure representation proved that the deck was the most represented in Top Cut. 100%. If you've got those engages and you've got those reincarnations, I mean, reincarnations have gone through the roof over the last 24 hours, should be no stranger to you when these particular cards just destroy themselves. But to no shocker, these cards have gone up. Now, going from top 32 to top 16, the number of just pure representatives for Trickstar Sky Strikers was almost... it was definitely cut over half. Went down to 7 of them. That's impressive to me as a player. Like, damn, yo. You got your numbers cut that much. Every Sky Striker player advanced. 4 Gokis made it from the 6. And then 1 pure Trickstar and 1 ABC Sky Striker. Once again, Calvin Tahan made it to top 16. I don't like to make fun of the man, but he's purely the only one that knows what the fuck he's doing with ABC. Am I right or am I right? But Altergeist did not make the cut. When I did my discussion talking about Jersey, I talked about Goki, Trickstar, and Sky Strikers being the 3 best decks, and I put Altergeist into that tier 2 bracket with Spirals and a few other things. But the reason that we went that route was because just the ceiling to pure Sky Strikers, Trickstars, and even Goki, what those decks can do and what they generate is just so much more than your standard metagame can honestly produce. But going from top 16 to top 8, 2 Goki, 3 Sky Striker, and 3 Trickstar Sky Striker. You lost your pure Trickstar player. Calvin Tahan got eliminated in Top Cut. And at that point, you are literally left with just the pure powerhouses. Now, going into this point, the only Goki just gets hand trapped, and unfortunately, if you're playing against 2 decks that are very much geared against you, you're going into a shitty situation. And seeing a lot of these decks kind of just be eliminated at the stage that they were, let's be honest here. Some of this has to do with those end of match procedures, but I'll talk about that here shortly. So top 8, we're going into top 4. There was 1 pure Sky Striker and 3 Trickstar Sky Striker. 1 pure made it. Both Goki players were eliminated, which honestly just kind of fucking sucks for Goki, honestly, but there's not really much they can do about it. And then making it into the finals was pure versus Trickstar. And then Cody Angeloff eventually ended up winning the event. And his deck profile will be on the channel at some point. I wanted to do a rundown, discuss a few of the things in his metagame choices. But that's a really big rundown. Now, a lot of people evidently put a lot more faith in the hybrid build for Trickstar Sky Striker than I did. I particularly saw the concept when it first came out. And yeah, there is the whole OTK that the deck can do. Don't let that fool you. The deck still has infinite utility. For Reincarnation, you have all of your Licorice plays, and you get the combined engine of Sky Strikers. Now, the reason why Sky Strikers are good is because they're one of the best engines in the game. But they're an engine. And unfortunately, the TCG was combining them with Alistair and company. Well, fuck diddly yuck. Like, we were wrong about that. Combine them with Trickstars. You get this fantastic hybrid build that kind of just shits on the metagame. And I don't want to talk the deck up a lot, but in the right hands of a right player, well, that deck's fantastic. But I think in a rogue setting, much like locals, one of our friends was testing the build last week, and he didn't perform optimally with it. Whether or not it be pure or Goki, depending on the matchup, you might not open up. Well, I mean, it's the case with any deck, honestly. But the deck, it feels so much more fragile. But once again, that seems to be the theme in the current format. Fragile is what wins. I mean, look at Spiral. That deck is so fucking fragile, it actually just hurts. But because of the excitement that the deck has and the allure and the pull, a lot of people choose to go with it. A few interesting subpoints to this YCS outside of Cody Angeloff winning it. Ring of Magnetism and sort of Deep-Seated Roots. So I'll play. Now, if you don't particularly know what these cards do, they're super old Eclipse. I believe people were trying to get cheeky, kind of spice things up a little bit. And I definitely think they succeeded in where they needed to go. Just proving that you don't need Moon Mirror Shield or Autonomous Action Unit as viable equips. You can mix it up a little bit, which is perfectly fine. But it is what it is. This was also the first event that we actually seen Team ARG come back into full swing. Now, if you guys don't remember, Jeff Jones and a lot of other players were originally on Team ARG. I think it was way back in the day before Team ARG disbanded officially. But Jim did put back together a team. You'll probably see them. Players like Jeff Jones. I think Calvin Tahan's on the team. I think Noah's also on the team. But it is some of the best players coming back into the game. And it's really good to see a team like that back in the game. I'd like to see some articles on the flip side back as well, because it's one of the things people enjoyed about that. But the team is back in full swing. So kudos to that. Something else for you guys to look for. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on in this video, time. I heard nothing but nightmares from this event. I heard a story somewhere along the way about time. Neither player was aware a team was about to be called. Player had game on the board. His opponent went to extend his handshake to give his opponent the win. There was no visual confirmation other than the handshake. They declared time. Player was getting ready to shake the hand of the person that had board, said that you did not have battle, or you did not enter battle phase. Got screwed out of it. I don't think Konami realizes just how much our player base are scumbags. We did a poll in Zodiac. We got about 400 people that said they did not like the new end-of-match procedures. You've got about 35 to 40, as of the last time I checked a couple hours ago, for players that love the end-of-match procedures. But a lot of players are talking about wanting to quit the game. Because of these, a lot of players don't want to attend tournaments right now. I absolutely agree with you on the notion that these end-of-match procedures are terrible. I think our alternative would be to make the rounds 45 minutes and keep the same end-of-match procedures. I would be absolutely fine with that. That's one compromise. Finishing the current turn and giving one more turn doesn't really seem fair. I just think if you're already going 30 and 40 minutes over in time, extending it an extra 5 minutes would be a fair notion, in my opinion. Just make Swiss rounds go the extra 5 minutes. Give it to the players. You know that your player base is scumbags, Konami. You know this. You're pushing these new end-of-match procedures down people's throats. Evidently, judges are now getting compensated in money. They're getting paid hourly wages, from what I've heard. That was one of the reasons why it makes sense why they would change the end-of-match procedures to be more efficient to that regard. But Konami, you need to do something about this. Your player base is not happy with you. There are a lot of things wrong. I can't wait to see the amount of fist fights that are going to bust out at WCQ this year, even if you're aware of them or you're not aware of them. You know, these end-of-match procedures are leaving a bad taste in your community's mouth. I think, Base Lolly made a comment about the integrity of the game being compromised under these rules, and I absolutely agree with that. You know, it's not the way that Yu-Gi-Oh was meant to be played. The end-of-match procedures we've had for years have worked. Either you need to do something, or, in the words of Nidir, or Farfa, release Yu-Gi-Oh 2. So, it's not going to happen, but for the most part, you need to do something about this. This is just one of those you probably don't care kind of things. It was just good execution, wrong implementation. You should extend the timer by 5 minutes. Make the rounds 45 minutes. I think that would make players a little bit happier. It's give and take, but you can read about that in my new book, which hasn't been even started yet, called How Long Until ... It'll be a fantastic novel. Trust me on that. Much like my other two works pictured here. God. What do I do with my life? Well, that's my YCS jersey discussion. Catch you guys tomorrow with my meta discussion. What a week. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.